Well, Bill, how are you feeling about being out on bail?
And a special thank you that Carl could be with us.
Victoria Police's recruitment of gangland barrister Nicola Gobbo to inform against her clients was described by the High Court as having debased the criminal justice system.
It is a shameful episode in the criminal history or the criminal justice history of this state.
Gobbo provided police with intelligence during the height of Melbourne's gangland war in the late 1990s and early 2000s. In 2020, the Royal Commission into the Lawyer X saga said police knew what they were doing was unethical and unprofessional, but were unwilling to stop.
There are certainly the upper echelons of Victoria Police are guilty of criminal conduct. They've never been prosecuted.
In a move that has outraged Australia's legal fraternity, last month the Victorian government introduced legislation to prevent itself and Victoria Police, including any current and former officers, from being sued in relation to two human sources: Nicola Gobbo and murdered gangland lawyer Joseph Aquaro.
We have not shied away from the wrongdoing of Victoria Police and particular informants in this state and the damage that it has caused. I have been very upfront in the reasons for this legislation. It is draining taxpayer resources.
It is unprecedented legislation, not only in Victoria but around Australia. All the legal bodies around Australia have come out vehemently in opposition to it.
The turning of Gobbo against her clients has tainted potentially more than 1,000 criminal convictions, paving the way for multi-million-dollar compensation claims.
People have rights. They're entitled under the law to exercise them, and removing them retrospectively is the way that dictatorships and autocrats carry on.
3 of Nicola Gobbo's former clients have already had criminal convictions overturned. Drug kingpin Tony Mockbell is still behind bars, but is appealing other charges. Farouk Orman and Zlate Svetanovsky were released from jail.
It's life-changing. It's one chapter closes, another one opens.
The 2 men are among at least 4 Lawyer X civil compensation claims currently before the courts that would be derailed by the Victorian government's legislation.
For the case that I'm working on at the moment, which has been about 4 years in the Supreme Court, with a trial date in April, it means it's over.
Jack Rush is Farouk Orman's barrister. Orman is suing Victoria Police for wrongful imprisonment, misfeasance in public office and malicious prosecution.
He served 12 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Nicola Gobbo acted for Farouk Orman. Nicola Gobbo was a police informer. And Nicola Gobbo was also acting, unbeknown to the court and Farouk Orman, for the principal witness, an unreliable murderer, principal witness against Farouk Orman. She was also acting for and duchessing that unreliable witness to give evidence in the case. All of that conduct hidden from all the other participants in the criminal proceeding.
People like Gobbo and Farouk Orman aren't very sympathetic characters, but the principle is what's important, because if the government can take away their rights to sue the government when they've been harmed, who says they can't do it to you or to me or to anybody else?
Fresh documents have surfaced through Orman's civil claim which relate to how Victoria Police used information from Gobbo. Critics of the bill say if passed, there will be no further scrutiny of Victoria Police through civil claims.
The extent of the criminality has never ever been exposed to the Victorian public, and I've got no doubt that the Victorian government is desperate to make sure that what went on is never exposed to the Victorian public.
After getting $2.8 million in compensation from Victoria Police in 2010, Nicola Gobbo is now suing the state for up to $30 million, saying police failed to protect her identity and safety. The proposed bill would strike out this claim. In the meantime, police are now expected to fight it in court, arguing they were not responsible.
It does look like a certain rewriting of history, given Victoria Police have clearly said in the past they believe they did owe a duty of care to their informers, including Gobbo.
It's estimated the fallout from the Lawyer X scandal has already cost Victorian taxpayers well in excess of $200 million. No one from Victoria Police has ever been charged. The DPP declined to pursue charges recommended by a special investigative office set up after the Royal Commission.
We think enough's enough. We think that Victorian taxpayers should have the benefit of a government that can direct all of their resources into the matters that are important to them.
The Victorian Attorney-General Jacqueline Symes was unavailable for interview and Victoria Police declined our request. The state government faces a battle in getting its special new law through Parliament's upper house. 730 understands it may instead propose capping compensation amounts to gain support. Is that something the opposition would support?
No, we don't believe. These are matters for courts, not for politicians. These decisions should be made in a court of law, according to the law, not the government trying to rig the rules with last-minute legislation to avoid embarrassment about its own actions coming out through a court case.
Everybody needs to be concerned about legislation that retrospectively remove rights. It may not be that here the rights removed are of the community's favourite sons, but that is just not something that needs to be taken into account. The precedent that is set is profound.